Draft live from Arlington, Texas. As we always do, we've got reporters covering teams around the country. Josina Anderson with the Cleveland Browns, Diana Rossini with the Giants, and Sal Paolantonio with the New York Jets. We'll start at the top. The Cleveland Browns on the clock tonight at 8 o'clock. Josina.
Well, Wendy, barring any new information or proposals surfacing and based on multiple conversations that I've had on and off the record, it is my feeling that the Browns have settled on Oklahoma quarterback Baker Mayfield with their #1 pick. Now, new Browns general manager John Dorsey has always emphasized that he wants a winner. And to me, he told me, I want someone who really loves winning, who's respected and loved by his teammates. Now, head coach Hugh Jackson spoke to me about multiple quarterbacks, but on Baker Mayfield, he told me, quote, he demonstrated the things that we are all looking for in a quarterback. So then the question moves to their 4th pick. And if the Giants end up picking NC State defensive end Bradley Chubb, who I've heard that they really like in that scenario, presumably Saquon Barkley could fall to the Cleveland Browns at #4. And on Barkley, the comment that I received was, quote, he's a guy that we've had great conversation about. We will see where all of this falls. And Penn State head football coach James Franklin said this to me on Saquon Barkley, saying, quote, Cleveland is closer than people think with the talent that they've acquired and that we've done research on. I think Saquon embraces maybe going somewhere at the right time where he could do something special. Now let's send it over to Diana, who is with the Giants.
Joe, it sounds like there's a lot of information coming out of Cleveland today. Quite a different story here in New York. I spoke to head coach Pat Shurmur about their plans today. He says they are going to be meeting in that draft room, making their decision all the way up until the start of the draft. Though I did ask him directly, do they have plans on trading back? Because that was the feeling here in this building from a source earlier today. He said anything is on the table right now, but we do plan on picking at that #2 overall spot. So who's it going to be? You just heard Josina talk about Saquon Barkley, and they rave about this running back when he was here visiting the Giants facility a few weeks ago. I spoke to some people in this Giants organization, and they said he's such a great guy, obviously both on the field and off the field. But what about that quarterback spot? Because there is still concerns about Eli Manning at 37 years old, despite the fact that there's so much confidence from this head coach in Eli Manning. Well, Dave Gettleman put it best. He said, basically, if you pick the wrong quarterback in this draft, you're going to set your organization back 5 years. We will wait and see if they're willing to take that risk. That's the latest from New York. Let's send it over to the other New York team a few miles away. Sal Paolantonio with the Jets.
Hey, Diana, exactly 29 miles away. You're in East Rutherford. I'm in Florham Park, New Jersey. And the fate of these two New York teams is tied together in this draft at the top of the first round. Here's a perfectly good illustration of that. Back page of today's New York Post. There's the headline, Slots of Luck. Giants and Jets must hit the jackpot tonight. And so much depends on what the Giants do for the New York Jets. The Jets know that. When I talked to GM Mike McCagnon, he said, being at #3, we'll see what happens ahead of us and then go from there. Translation, all options are open for the New York Jets at #3. At the quarterback position, any other position, trading up, they won't trade down. They like their chances at #3 to get a franchise-changing quarterback. And matter of fact, when I talked to Todd Bowles this morning, the head coach of the New York Jets, he said, I'm comfortable at #3. I think I can get a great player who can change the direction of this franchise. Now for a report on the Buffalo Bills, here's Jeff Darlington in Orchard Park, New York.
Well, Sal, I've been talking to my Bills sources over the past couple of days, and I can tell you that they clearly recognize the prospect that the Giants will stay put at #2, meaning they'd have to trade somewhere else into the top 6 to potentially get their franchise quarterback. And they're okay with that. That's because they recognize that if the Jets did still select a quarterback, they could still get their guy by potentially trading to #4 with the Browns, #5 with the Broncos, or #6 with the Colts. In other words, there are still options here. Of course, that does come with a caveat. If they are going after the same quarterback that the Jets are at 3, they'd probably have to push harder once the Giants are on the clock. But by all means, it appears the Bills are staying steady. They don't want to overreact. They want to make sure they pay the right price if they do move up to get their guy. Wendy?
Jeff, thank you. And of course, those trades among the things we'll be watching tonight. And we'll go now back to Mort and Adam with some more information on teams who may be looking to make a move tonight. Guys?
Wendy, there should be a slew of activity tonight. Teams moving up, teams moving back. We heard Jeff Darlington talk about the Buffalo Bills. A lot of attention focused on the Bills at number 12 coming up into the top 4, 5, 6 picks of the draft. The Cleveland Browns have been willing to listen. The Denver Broncos have been willing to listen. The Indianapolis Colts willing to listen. Again, John Elway has already advertised that his number 5 pick is for sale. Buffalo could move up. Arizona could move up. There's also a slew of teams that are interested in moving back later in the draft. Baltimore open to moving back from number 16. Seattle, without second and third round picks, open to moving back from number 18. The Detroit Lions at number 20, also open to moving back, as are the Tennessee Titans and the world champion Philadelphia Eagles at 32. An interesting spot being that the Eagles don't have second and third round picks. Their second round pick going for Carson Wentz. Their third round pick going for Arnold Darby. The Eagles having absolutely no regrets, but it should be a lot of activity tonight, Mort.
Anything else? No.
Yeah, you're forgetting one notable team here that could start all these trades.
I really think, listen, we've talked a lot about the Cleveland Browns and the number 1 pick, but they do have the 4th pick, as Jeff Darlington alluded to. And I think that is the spot that whichever quarterback, let's just say it's Josh Allen and Josh Rosen. That's the spot I think teams have been calling. And what the Bills have to gauge is, do we really have a guy we prefer over the other? And we also know there are other teams, and I'll throw out the Arizona Cardinals as a team, who may have the same guy in mind. So you have to calculate what you would give up to go to the Cleveland Browns spot at number 4, because it is open, but you have to pay the price. And if you're not willing to pay the price, the Browns will stay there and pick.
But also, if Cleveland is open to trading that spot, that could mean losing out on Bradley Chubb or Saquon Barkley.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I think the price could be high. Although I think Barkley's going to the Giants.
Well, there you go.
We'll see.
All right, so much to watch for. And as promised, Todd McShay joins us now. And Todd, you heard all the different scenarios. They're certainly out there. What does the top 5 look like if some of this comes to fruition?
Yeah, our heads are starting to spin with all these different projections. But listen, let's go with the Baker Mayfield number 1, Sam Darnold number 3 theory. If that's how it plays out, obviously you would see Saquon Barkley running back in this situation going number 2 to New York. This is where the sweet spot becomes, as the guys mentioned, 4, 5, and 6. Now, if you're Cleveland, it's a possibility. Denver, to me, when you look at the picks they have and the needs that they have in this draft, I think moving back makes a lot of sense. We know the Colts have a bunch of picks. With the Denver Broncos, you've got 5, you've got 40, and then you've got 2 picks in the 3rd round, 71 and 99 there. So if you can get a deal done to move down, and I know it's costly because you're getting out of that range of the elite top players, and maybe it takes you away from getting one of the guys that you want. But look at the collateral you could wind up getting if you move back to that number 12 spot to allow the Buffalo Bills to move up. The Bills are loaded with picks this year, and you look at what they would potentially give away. They obviously would give away that pick to move up to number 5 at number 12, and then it's either 22 or potentially could be 53, 56, and 96 in this deal. So you're looking at a lot of picks if you're the Denver Broncos to move back the 7 spots that it would require in a deal with the Buffalo Bills. If the Bills make this deal, Josh Allen is my guess that would be the player they would trade up for. Now, the interesting thing is, and I'll leave it at this, if Baker Mayfield goes 1, and we've talked about Sam Darnold possibly going number 2, I think Josh Rosen becomes the pick at number 3, and you know what that does, Wendy? That drives the price up even more for the Buffalo Bills trying to move up to 4, 5, and 6. That's why I think everyone's waiting to see what happens, and the Buffalo Bills could have to pay a ransom to get up into this top 6 range.
Todd, thank you. It sure does drive that price up, and that becomes the question. You know, the return on investment, is it worth it to make a move like that as you look at the team tables? Cleveland, of course, at 1 and 4, but a pivotal team in this instance is the Buffalo Bills because they have the collateral bill. They have the picks to package if they choose to do so. What do you see?
Well, they do. Let's talk about 4 to begin with. If you're at 4 and you're going down to 12, which is where the Bills are, you've just lost a difference-making player. I don't see that as a wise move, but hey, Everybody does things differently. Secondly, the Bills do have the ammunition to move up. It's going to take a swap of ones. It's probably, for a quarterback, it's probably going to take both twos and maybe something else. The Bills have it. Arizona at 15 does not have that ammunition. They only have one pick in the second round, one pick in the third round, and whoever is going if it was Denver, they're going to 15. They're going to have to get way more than that to make that move. That means that Arizona is going to have to give up something from next year, probably next year's one. Again, if it's a quarterback, in order to make that move. So the Patriots are way down. They don't have enough ammunition to get up into the top echelon of the draft. So the Bills are the most likely team to get in there. The question is, at what price? And as Todd just pointed out, if the last quarterback is on the board at that point, the price is going to be very, very stiff.
Rex, you spent some time in Buffalo, and you know a little bit about that quarterback situation. What do you say if they don't see their guy, if they have one guy and he's not there? I mean, do they reach for a quarterback in this situation? Do they package those picks and pay what could be an extremely high price?
Well, I can tell you this. The owner right there, Terry Pegula, he's as bold a guy as I've ever been around. So I'm anticipating a huge move from the Bills. I think they're going to pay the price, get down to and go get the quarterback that they want, the guy that they want. So I think there's a definite target in place. You don't let Tyrod Taylor walk out of your building and not replace him. I get it. They got A.J. McCarron, whatever. Give me a break. So they're going to go after.
Be clear.
They're going to go after a guy. There's no question about it. They got somebody in mind, and they're going to package those picks. And it doesn't just come from the head coach and GM, which clearly those guys will be on board. But this owner, I'm telling you, he wants a special guy at that spot, and I think they're going to go up and get him.
Well, again, a team with the picks to do it if they so choose. The New York Giants, again, an interesting choice at number 2. There you can see a lot of speculation that they'll take Saquon Barkley, but that remains to be seen. And Giants fans are here. They'll weigh in. You know everybody from New York has something to say. They will. That's right.